So, have you ever had someone change your life or gotten the opportunity to change your life? Well, for me, I did starting in high school as a freshman. So, since my parents didn't go to college, didn't complete a 4 year degree, I'm known as a first generation college student. So, with that, I was able to become a participant in this program called AVID TOPS, which stands for Advanced via Individual Determination and Teens of Promise. And with this at my high school, it's a college prep program, and they teach us how to be successful in college, like how to take proper notes, how to like just excel on your exams, study tips, and just getting out there and getting tutoring and help for those reasons. And with the Avid Tops program, they partnered with the Boys and Girls Club in Dane County. Since I'm from Madison, Wisconsin, in Dane County area, the Boys and Girls Club there partnered with all the high schools in Madison, and specifically with my high school, they allowed us to have tutors through Boys and Girls Club. We got the opportunity to do internships in the summers. So for 3 summers, I was able to do an internship in a finance department in Madison. I got to do an internship shadowing occupational therapists and physical therapists and just see what I would want to do with the rest of my life. So, Boys and Girls Club allowed me to have that opportunity and helped me be a little bit more successful in my life. And without the Boys and Girls Club, I wouldn't be in college. I wouldn't be as successful as I am today either. Other things that the Boys and Girls Club through my high school helped me with was they gave us tutors, and we were allowed to access those tutors whenever we needed, basically, as students, as high school students. We would do any kind of questions and try to figure through those problems as best as we could. And now, being in college, we get what's called college success coaches, which means they're basically like our mentors in college. Like if we have a question about anything college related, we can go to our health or our success coaches and ask them any questions or anything that we might be stuck on, even if it relates to like scholarships or just how to study for this test better. Things, little things like that. We have someone to reach out to, all thanks to the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County. So those are just a few ways that the Boys and Girls Club helped me, at least. So for this speech, I want to talk about obviously the Boys and Girls Club, and not specifically Dane County, but just Boys and Girls Club of America in general. It's a nonprofit organization that's available to all youth and young adults all across the United States. So today I wanted to talk about how it started and why the Boys and Girls Club started, as well as their missions and goals and like what they do specifically more in depth, and finally ways to get involved. So for why it started, so back in the 1900s or even the 1800s, there were 3 women in Connecticut who were just chilling on the front porch, and they noticed all the young boys in their neighborhood. They were just out in the streets playing with each other, and they decided they wanted to help those boys like reach their goals and do something else with their lives and build character. So they started this club. In 1906, it was called the Boys Club only, for the boys to get that character building and do something else with their life instead of just hanging out on the streets every day after school. So that started in 1906, started as the Boys Club. And then in the 1920s, the name changed to the Boys Club Federation. And then along came 1931, where it was recognized as the Boys Club of America. And then soon down the line, in 1990, they changed the name to Boys and Girls Club of America because they started to recognize girls more, and girls were getting more involved with this Boys Club. So then they wanted to stick with that name, and that name stuck for up until now, at least. So this Boys and Girls Club serves predominantly like low-income kids more often now today, but it still does all the same like character building and getting kids like off the streets as well too. So next I'd like to share about what the Boys and Girls Club does. So according to the Boys and Girls Club of America website online, juvenile crime increases between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m., typically after school hours on the weekdays. And they gave some statistics about 1 out of every 6 students fail to graduate high school. And they give 43 million kids, which is about the population the size of Argentina, 43 million kids lack summer learning programs and they fall behind in school and learning outcomes. 97% of teens who are in the Boys and Girls Club of America, they graduate college on time. And then 88% of Boys and Girls Club teens go to some post-secondary education. They go to some college or some university and they complete like at least 2 years is what they call for the post-secondary degree. So some programs that the Boys and Girls Club offers are things like sports and rec, like you can go do a basketball league, you can participate in a soccer league, like a little recreational leagues, things like that. There's education and tutoring involved that you can get involved in as a Boys and Girls Club youth or teen. There's also health and wellness programs that you can be a part of and learn about hygiene, how to eat proper, good nutrition, things like that. And there's an arts program which involves like theater and dance and things like that of that arts nature. They also have a program specified towards career development. So anything to help you ace that interview, or they'll teach you how to dress properly for an interview too. Like you can have a mentor that'll guide you through the whole like interviewing process and just application process to apply to a job or an internship that you want. And through the Boys and Girls Club, like I mentioned earlier, they help you get internships as well. You can apply to internships and then they'll help place you in a site that you want to be in, typically. And also on their website, they offer like more information on summer hours. Like they have extended summer hours, they have extended weekend hours. There's a meal program. If you don't eat at home, you can eat at the Boys and Girls Club at their specific like center location. You can eat there as well. So now I want to get into ways you can volunteer, ways you can help the Boys and Girls Club of America be successful and keep on running and help youth across the United States. So one simple way to get involved is to volunteer. Volunteer at the Boys and Girls Club Center in your area. So specifically, for me, living in Winona right now, there's a center in La Crosse, so I could volunteer there and help those kids in like one of those programs, either it be the sports and recreation or the arts, or even help them with career development as well. There are also 4 places in Duluth, Minnesota. There's a couple by UW, University of Wisconsin Superior, and there's one by the Children's Museum in Duluth as well. Another way to get involved is to just donate money. Because since this is a nonprofit organization, any money to help keep it running will help in the future. And finally, another way to get involved is to organize a walk or a race to benefit the Boys and Girls Club of America. And I know in Madison, Wisconsin, there's been a like bike-a-thon that the money raised for that goes to the Boys and Girls Club of America. And you can organize all these kind of events and just make sure the money goes to the Boys and Girls Club, basically. So finally, I wanted to talk about, I talked about how and why the Boys and Girls Club of America started, a little bit about what the Boys and Girls Club does, and talked a little bit about ways to get involved. And now you can get all of this information on the Boys and Girls Club of America website as well. So one branch, just one single branch of the Boys and Girls Club of America helped me be successful and succeed in life. And with so many other branches around the United States, all kids, not even at-risk youth, not even just those kids, everybody, all kids can participate and be part of the Boys and Girls Club of America. They help, they help all kids, like millions of kids in the United States as well. There's a lot of the actual centers or like the buildings where you can like go into the Boys and Girls Club of America. A lot of those buildings are like in high populated areas like the cities, the Twin Cities, like Madison, Wisconsin, big cities like Chicago as well, Chicago, Illinois. But even though the centers are only in those metropolitan areas, like the services that they provide extend everywhere. So even though like Madison, Wisconsin it's a pretty highly populated city, there's a center, a Boys and Girls Club of America center in Madison, but their service is also extended to the high schools around Madison as well, specifically my high school too. The Boys and Girls Club of America aids in character development, increased behavior, positive behavior, and increase kids' personal goals and expectations. In 1990s, it expanded to girls and offers numerous programs that specifically help youth achieve the goals through like sports, recreation, arts, career development, and leadership as well. And we should support the Boys and Girls Club of America because it helps so many kids in so many different ways. And they help those kids become successful and reach their goals and just help the future leaders of our generation be successful and keep them on the right path to success as well. The Boys and Girls Club of America has a positive impact on the world and the young kids of today's generation. So I encourage you to donate, support, and volunteer at your local Boys and Girls Club of America. Thank you.